Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, and I believe that the right book at the right time can change lives, and that all readers should read children's literature, especially adults. So, that's what we do here on the KidLit Love podcast. We celebrate all things children's literature: picture books, early readers, middle grade, and young adult novels for readers of all ages. In each episode, we'll talk with children's literature authors and discuss their books, their hopes, their dreams for readers, their writing process, and much, much more. Whether you're an adult reading to their inner child or connecting the young readers in your life with fantastic books, you've come to the right place. So grab a notebook to build your TBR, and let's get to today's episode of KidLit Love. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the KidLit Love podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your KidLit loving host, inviting you back to another bookish conversation with a children's literature author. Today, I'm talking with Jamie Sumner. Jamie is the author of multiple middle grade novels, including the Roll With It trilogy, The Summer of June, Wish You Well, and one of my favorites, Schooled. She's here today to talk about her newest release, Glory Be, a heartwarming illustrated novel in verse. In this book, a girl searches for her lost dog and truths about her family and learns quite a bit about herself in the process. This book had my heart, and I did not want to let it go when it was over, so I can't wait to talk with Jamie all about it. So let's get right to it. Jamie, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. It's
I am
great.
too. I am too. I loved talking with you about Schooled. That was, listeners, if you'd like to listen to that episode, that was episode 163, where that book just felt like a permission slip to just explore and wonder and be curious and to feel all the feels. And I thought that book went straight to my heart, but oh my goodness, we're going to talk about Glory Be today. So I'm giving listeners a little preview of just how amazing this book is. But before we get to the book, I want you to talk about you, especially for listeners that maybe didn't listen to that episode yet. Give us a bit about your backstory and your journey through children's literature.
I would love to. It's fun being a frequent flyer because I get to go.
I
Okay.
love it.
So I am a writer based in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have three kids. Charlie, who is actually, as I say this, about to be 14, which feels impossible. Since I wrote Roll With It for him and that got the idea for it when he was in kindergarten or starting kindergarten. So that's crazy. And then I have twins, Cora and Jonas, who are 11. So all three of mine are in middle school right now. So exactly the age I write for. Like
Yes.
all their friends know me, which I'm never going to be cool again. And so I have to really like lean into this season. Most people don't really talk about leaning into the middle school season, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I started writing for middle grade when my son Charlie started kindergarten because Charlie has cerebral palsy and he's in a wheelchair. And we were rolling around his little library on the kindergarten tour just because they always, they show you everything. And I was rolling him up and down the aisles and there weren't any books about kids like him. And there were no books with kids in wheelchairs on the cover. And then the few books that I knew of or remembered were like the kids that had any kind of disability were side characters
Yeah.
and they were very flat. And I didn't want Charlie to start school and go through his entire educational experience and think nobody understands me. Um, and nobody wants to. And also for his friends, I didn't want like his peers and classmates to go through their school experience and not be empathetic and learn how to, be in his place. And so that kind of sparked it. And I've always written, and I've always written for me, but that was the first time that I really had something to say to others, I think, that was important enough that I had to get out there And so that's what started the Roll With It series.
Yeah.
And then I just kept going.
You kept going. So where do those ideas come from when you kept going? Is it still, ideas from your kids, from your middle school? Like, how do you keep the ball rolling like you have?
Oh my gosh, that is such a great question because yesterday I told my husband, I think I'm done. I have no good ideas. And he very gently and firmly reminded me that I say that after every single book. So I think they come in different ways. Like school, I wrote a book called One Kid's Trash, and it's about a kid who can tell you anything you want to know about a person. He's kind of like a kid detective if you bring him that person's trash. And that's how he like makes a reputation and becomes cool, even to his detriment and doing things that are illegal.
Mhm.
And that all came from an exercise that I used when I taught creative writing when I was a high school English teacher. And I had them come up with a list of their main characters, what was in their trash right now because it says so much about a person, what they throw away and what they keep, and even how they throw stuff
Yeah.
away. So ideas can come from anywhere. Schooled came from an idea, this experimental school that I made up in the book came from my experience teaching homeschool tutorials in East Nashville after I stopped teaching full time and the different kinds of kids that I interacted with and how we taught differently. And so it kind of can come from anything as long as you're open. I think a lot of that idea sparking like mentality came from when I wrote a lot more nonfiction for because I wrote for the New York Times and the Washington Post and I did a lot of like personal essay type stuff for them.
Mhm.
And you're always looking for the next idea and thematically and what message do you want to give and so that kind of, I naturally think that way anyway. So as long as you stay open, I think, to that and don't let yourself get distracted by your phone all the time, which is
Mhm.
hard, um, then you can do it.
Yeah, that is the eternal battle, isn't it? Just put down the phone and you will be amazed at the things that you see and you uncover and you think about. Yes, yes,
Oh, it's the sensory world still exists.
yeah, yeah. But that
I
is
know.
in the audience that you write for, that is also a daily
Exactly.
battle. So it's exactly you're still in the headspace, so to speak, and in that world of who you write for, because we all experience that.
Exactly.
So glory be. Oh, glory be. Now, one of the things, one of the themes, or I guess that you've said you write for, you write stories that celebrate grit and beauty in all kids. And oh my goodness, Glory Be has grit and beauty and all of the things in a beautifully illustrated verse novel. So tell us a little bit about Glory Be. We don't give spoilers, and I'm gonna have to be really careful not to just like gush everything out as I want to tell you everything. Um, but tell us, give us a bit about Glory Be and what was the inspiration behind this book?
So this will be my third book in verse that comes out. Or wait, is this my second? This is what happens when you write a bunch of books. Deep Water. Maybe this is my second. I don't remember. It is one of them. And this is because I'm currently copy editing a book in verse. I'm like, is that anyway? So Glory Be takes place in New Orleans, a place that I absolutely love. And to be very nitty gritty about it, like to get down into it, verse offers such an opportunity to play with your senses
Yeah.
and what you see, hear, feel, taste, touch, all of it. Like verse lends itself to that. And New Orleans is such a sensory place
Yeah.
that it was so fun to write. And Glory is younger than most of my protagonists. So I got to write for a slightly younger audience and I got to have illustrations, which I absolutely, absolutely love. And it all takes place over 5 days as she's hunting for her lost dog, Rue, who's a really big fat dachshund. And Rue has gone missing. You see the first day, like he has gone missing and she's determined to find him and she's going to search all over New Orleans for him. But then as you get further into the story, you see like a kind of a dark shadow behind her in the storytelling, and it's her dad. And he has anger issues and gambling issues and drinking issues, and he is a very proud man, and he may or may not have had something to do with Rue's disappearance. And part of Glory's hunt for Rue is kind of her desperation to not believe that, and to find a reason that's different than one that might be true. And so it's very multi-layered about family dynamics. And I just, that's always where my heart is, the family story, and what this kid has to hold and let go of. And it just all came together in such a way that it felt magical. Like it really did, writing this book. And I love dogs, and the whole dog, like I get teary when I write scenes about like the sweetness and the like unconditional love. And that was the I guess the paradox is animals love unconditionally. Technically, parents should too, but nobody's perfect. And then also, you just assume the way your family life is how is normal. And then as you get older, you start to see other kids' families and their dynamics, and you're like, well, maybe this isn't great, or maybe, you know.
Yeah.
And so the paradox was showing Rue's unconditional love and then the kind of faulty love of the dad, and Glory hanging in between.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I kept thinking of the whole time reading this was I don't know what the right word is, but you have this beautiful verse and I say it simple, like verse is simple, and I don't mean simple. I mean you have the bare amount of words that really just go right to the heart of everything, right to the emotion of the story. At the same time, building a whole bunch of complex ideas about the characters and what's going on, the interactions between moms and dads and the kids at school and the anger and the bees in the belly and all of the things. And I so many times I was like, how does verse, which is simplistic in the number of words on the page, bring this huge kind of emotional complexity to the page? And I have to tell you, Jamie, I needed Kleenex a couple. I needed Kleenex for the emotions that I was feeling. Number one, I am a dog person.
Hmm.
Well, I have five.
Wow, you
Uh,
really are a dog person.
yes. Well, my family has made me that way.
They do that, don't they?
They do. So I could very much relate with that unconditional love, with that fear of what happens when they're gone, where are they, and that desperation to get them back. But there was so much more. Like it just page after page after page, it got a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper, and the reader is still wondering, okay, where is the dog? And where did the dog go? And well, who was it? And whose fault was it? And as you're going in deeper in one way with the dog, then you're uncovering the things in the family, and it just had my heart. It just had my heart. And I was like, there aren't as many words on the page, and I am feeling more. I am feeling so much more, than a typical book. So I really love that this book, it really was meant for prose like this. Well, how is that for you writing in those two different ways? Like I guess here's the big question, was this always verse? Was it ever prose? And how do you figure out what the book needs?
This was never prose because I knew from the beginning, I told you, um, the place that I wanted to set it, New Orleans, NOLA, like it is okay. I've always been told, feedback I've always gotten as a writer is that I write very lyrically. So I use a lot of comparison, metaphor, simile, figurative language when I write just naturally in rhythm. And so, because I wanted to tell the story for a younger perspective in a city like that, there was no really alternative for me. Is I needed it to be Glory's voice needed to be in poetry. She needed that.
Yeah.
She got a very strong voice, very and all the characters have very strong, distinct voices, and
Yes.
that comes across to me so much better in poetry. Um, and it's such a fast-paced kind of story that I'm telling too. It makes sense that the reader is also flipping quickly through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, kids love that. They feel so successful as readers when they get to flip those pages.
They
I
do.
just finished a book in verse, reading one, and I felt the same way. I was like, wow, look at me flying.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a feeling. And you're flying, but you're so in it. You're
Yeah,
so
exactly.
invested that the pages are turning quickly because of the words on the page, but the story in your heart is also turning quickly and you're just
Hmm.
getting to the end. Oh, I wish I could like tease a little bit more. Like I feel like I'm being very cagey with some of the themes that are there, but this is a book that I cannot give anything away. Like
You
readers,
can't, it's a mystery.
yes,
You can't, yeah.
they have to experience it for themselves.
It's gonna
But
be hard for me too.
yeah,
As-
I want to point out one part of the book that was really important to me and something that happened to me as a kid all the time that I did not have words for, I didn't have a name for, but I do now. And at a certain part of the book, Gloria is talking about worry and worry in the body, and that worry is an emotion that you can sometimes feel in the body. And as a kid, I was always that anxious kid. I was that worry wart kid. I had stomach aches, I had headaches, I had all the ways that your emotions kind of collide with your physical body that way. And I was like, oh, I wish someone told me that when I was a child, that worry or that stuff that you feel can come out physically in your body and it's okay, right? It's okay and it's real and it's there. And I just felt like you touched upon it so beautifully that there are kids that are going to have some aha moments and just be, oh, okay, which for me would have taken a huge weight off of myself. And so I'm so glad that you talk about that there. Um, because knowing that message earlier would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of physical pain, I think too. And I haven't seen it touched upon in a novel quite ever yet that I've encountered. And that really was just so important to me as a reader. So thank you for including that.
Well, I was an anxious kid, and I got told a lot, don't be so sensitive, or why are you so worried, or chill, chill.
Yeah.
Chillax was a big word when I was younger, so I heard chillax a lot. And then I have an anxious kid and the stomach aches and the physical manifestations. And there is something about being able to name it takes the power away and the shame away from it
Yeah.
because there are so many more people that feel exactly that way. But if you don't know that, you think you're the only one, you know?
Yeah.
And this was very important for me to put in this book. And I think again, if you shy away from that hard stuff because you're scared to put it in because, oh, this is for younger kids.
Yeah.
Well, they deal with it.
Yeah.
It's for younger kids and they are also dealing with XYZ, and if you don't put it in the book, then you do them a disservice
Yeah.
and their reality a disservice.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so glad to see it. And while that may, like you said, it's not a heavy part of the book at all.
Mm-mm.
It's just something that really resonated with me. I feel like there's also this theme in the book of, beauty in places that people might not see or might be afraid to look or walk to or go to or trust in. And that hope is a huge thread in here too. And I just wanted to ask you to talk about what some of those themes, that might come up for reader as entry points, could be, of course, from your perspective.
I had so much fun with this. So, because Glory is native New Orleans girl, this is her home and these are her familiar places.
Yeah.
And so stuff that's like odd to anyone outside is totally cool and awesome for her. And so she really is amazing at seeing the beauty in everything. There is a character in the book Seven, and he lives under a bridge in the park, and he's like the man who knows everything. And she always wants to go to him because he's got to know where Rue is, and she's scared, but she's not. And it's all more of an adventure than it is full of fear, which I think as we get older and become adults, fear takes the place of adventure a
That's a
lot.
good point. That's very true. Yeah.
And she's not as, she doesn't let the fear win. And she talks about the beauty of the graffiti all over the city, and that it's art and it's murals and it's incredible, and like she she just has a way of seeing the world almost in technicolor, so
Yeah.
that you get to see the incredible people for who they are and look past maybe what you would first be intimidated by, and learn who they are. And then that's where like all of that beauty sprouts. And so it was so fun to put that in there.
Yeah. And because she is open to that, she has, all sorts of emotions swirling around in this book. But because she is open to that, she learns quite a bit from Seven. I learned quite a bit
Yeah.
from Seven. Again, no spoilers, but at some point, Glory starts to figure out what she believes and who she is, and all of the things that all of us adults probably still try to figure out, um, thanks to a man under the bridge. It was
Well, and he's not some kind of oracle soothsayer kind of guy. He oftentimes is like, girl, I don't know where your dog is. Stop bothering
right.
me.
That's
And
right.
so a lot of what she learned from him is that she has to trust herself.
Yes.
And so that was really important to me too, is that it's not like he holds the keys to the mystery. It's that he has had so much life experience, and that she kind of figures out she has to at some point listen to her gut and all of these other things that he kind of passes on to her. And it's just, I don't know. I love those kind of stories.
I do too. I do too. I would say, as Seven did for her, your book does for readers, because you can't help but be on this journey with her and ask
Hmm.
yourself those same questions of what you believe and what you think, and arrive at your own conclusions at the same
Yeah.
time Glory does. That's the beauty of a book. It's like it's right there waiting to invite us into it
Hmm.
as well. And what a thing to think about, as a middle grade reader. I know every adult reading this is going to have all of those moments and is going to need the Kleenex and is going to just rethink a whole bunch of things. But it's that special. I just want listeners to know it is that special. And I sound very cagey because I can't reveal, more than
No,
I
you can't.
really reveal things. Um, so they just have to read it. That's
Hmm.
right there. They just have to read it. Now, what is your hope for the book as it goes out into the world? What's your hope for the book and for the readers who get the chance to experience it?
I hope that with this book specifically, that it can give kids a chance to, I guess, process their own family dynamics. I mentioned earlier, you grow up until a certain age thinking what you live at home is what everyone else lives. And then you slowly start to see, well, that's not true. And then you slowly start to wonder, well, what's the right way and what's the wrong way, or what's the best way? And I want kids to see that there are other families that live differently, and really know that families look different, and there are times when you have to love people, and there are times when you have to let them go. And that's like one of those impossible things, but it does, but also there's hope and like starting over again and renewal and all of that within a family. And I think people often get stuck. It's like if I'm talking to the adults here, if you ever are around your own parents or you go home for the holidays and you find yourself falling back into the role that you played when you were 12, like, oh, that's just who that person is. And I wanted to show that people can still surprise you. And people can change within a family and the roles can change within a family. And I think that that's a really weird thing to think about and try to feel
Yeah.
and understand when you've always been this person to these people, but like that can change too, and that's important because
Yeah.
we're never the same. We never stay the same. We're always learning. And so I hope kids can see them in this and see that no, everybody else's family isn't perfect, and feel seen wherever they are, I guess, in it.
Yeah. I think not only will they feel seen, but they won't feel judged, right? No
Yeah.
matter which kind of family that they're talking about. And that idea that families and peoples can make a different decision, can change, can hold more than one emotion at the same time, and that's okay. That was powerful too.
Hmm.
That was really powerful.
And also that you don't have to kind of carry on your parents' legacy of things. Like Glory often wonders, she sees things in herself that are very much like her dad, and she's like, am I him? Am I just him also? And there's a lot of fear there, I think, for her. And and but also he's fun, and so it's very confusing. And I just want people to see that you can carry some things about your parents and let go of others. And just because you're similar doesn't mean you live out the same consequences of life as they do. And, you know, we're all a mixed bag. And so it's not like you are set, your genes are totally set. It's nurture and nature. It's all of it.
Yeah. And we all are in it together.
Yeah.
No matter which kind or which side or whichever, we all have stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we all are just human readers that can connect to one way or another in that book for sure.
And I hope everyone goes and adopts a dog at the end.
Except me, Jamie.
No, you
No.
have too many. You have too many. You're not allowed.
Now, Glory Bee is coming out, but you also have a picture book arriving soon. I'd love for you to talk about it and any other, what's on the horizon kind of things for you.
I'm so excited. I have my very first debut picture book coming out in May, so not that long after Glory Be.
Yeah.
And I am so excited. It starts with a kid in a pool pretending to be all these sorts of different sea creatures. I am a catfish, whiskers tickling the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the lake. I am a starfish cartwheeling across the ground. And
Mm,
you see the kid and you see the sea creature or whatever their lake creature that he's imagining in the scenes with him and doing these things. And then you realize you look up and the pool on the edge, a wheelchair is parked there. And you realize that he is actually in aquatic therapy. And his swim teacher is there, his physical therapist is there. And it celebrates all the different ways you can move your body in the water. And also celebrates how amazing, like this kid loves his wheelchair. He calls himself a rock star roller. And it's not like, oh, the water gives me freedom that my wheelchair doesn't. It's more like the water is a different opportunity to move in a different way. And so it really celebrates the way that all bodies move. And my son walked the only time he's ever walked um, in swim therapy. with weights on his legs through the water. And I just cried and cried and cried while I watched through the little porthole into the room. And there is something about water in that you remove that gravity
Mhm.
and it does something for you. And it also encourages your imagination. And it's called A Fish Like Me. And I am so excited. The illustrations are incredible. That I did not do them. That's why they're incredible. And it's just, I can't even tell you. I'm so excited to read it to little kiddos and hear their stories about swimming and talk about how we can all move differently. Like it's going to be, I'll probably cry during that. That'll freak them out, those little kids. She's crying. Mommy, why is she crying?
And every mom will be crying too. Like,
Oh, I know, I know,
oh, it
I
sounds,
know.
congratulations. I mean, you're busy and it's wonderful for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where is the best place for listeners to find you online to either learn more about you or just keep up with what might be coming next?
I am mostly on Instagram. That's kind of my place that I feel comfortable. I'm not on TikTok, sorry. I'm Jamie Sumner underscore author on Instagram, and that's where I usually post updates and when my books get reviewed and when the next one's coming out. And I do little videos well, I do some videos, but I also share New Yorker cartoons in my stories and a lot of other goofy things. So
Fun.
things to make you smile.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the easiest place for me. And I
Okay.
have a website. It's jamie-sumner.com. And that also will keep you updated on stuff.
Well, I will put links to both of those in the show notes. I'll put links to both of the books that we talked about
Yeah.
to the picture book. And I just want to thank you again for coming back. This is another wonderful conversation with a beautiful, beautiful book. I know everyone is going to love it. It's just amazing, Jamie.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I am excited to have it out there. I'm excited to talk to you again. And I'm just ready to let people find out the mystery.
Yes, I know. Ready to actually be able to say the things we want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of KidLit Love, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the KidLit Love podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. You'll also find KidLit Love on Substack. That's where you'll find posts for each episode, monthly KidLit roundups, and an invitation to join my summer book club and go deeper into the world of children's literature. And if you loved this podcast and want more, you might like to listen to my other podcast called Get Literate. It's a podcast that explores all things books and reading, notebooks and writing to build a life you love. One more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish community of Kid Lit Love. Thanks for listening.